The forest stood ancient, cloaked in mist. Sunlight struggled to pierce the dense canopy. Twisted branches, gnarled like skeletal fingers, reached out towards the path. A whisper rustled through the leaves, or was it a sigh? The forest held its breath, watching. This was no ordinary wood. This was a place of secrets, where shadows danced and the air hung heavy with the unknown. Few dared. The path wound deeper, swallowed by the gloom. Each step forward felt like stepping back in time. The air grew colder, damper. The scent of damp earth and decaying leaves filled the air, thick and cloying. There was a feeling here, a presence that sent shivers down your spine. Something watched from the shadows, unseen but ever present. On the edge of the whispering woods lay a village. Its inhabitants were a hardy folk, their faces etched with the weariness of generations past. They knew the secrets the forest held. They had heard its whispers. The village was a place of hushed tones and worried glances. Children were warned never to stray too far, never to venture into the woods alone. For the woods held dangers, dangers that lurked in the shadows, dangers that whispered your name. There were stories, of course. Whispered tales passed down from generation to generation, stories of strange lights seen amongst the trees, of disembodied voices that called out from the darkness. And then there were the whispers about the wolf.
Adjusting the basket on her arm. My grandmother is ill and I promised to bring her food and medicine.
Little Red Riding Hood stood at the edge of the wood, her breath catching in her throat. Still, Red was a brave girl, and she would not be deterred. She took a deep breath and stepped into the shadows. She had to reach her grandmother's house. Red remembered the stories. She had heard them whispered in hushed tones by the village elders. Stories of a great wolf that roamed the woods, a creature of immense size and cunning.
Sitting beside a crackling fireplace. They say its fur is the color of midnight, its eyes like burning coals. It can smell fear like a hound on the scent of blood.
Wide-eyed. Some say the wolf is a demon, a creature of pure evil.
Equally captivated, others whisper that it is something more, something ancient and powerful.
Red tried to push the stories from her mind. They were just tales, she told herself, meant to scare children. But still, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. She quickened her pace. The deeper Red ventured into the woods, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. The trees seemed to press in on her, their branches reaching out like grasping claws. She could feel them on her, tracking her every move. She could hear them in the rustle of the leaves, in the creak of the branches.
She imagined the wolf watching her, its burning eyes peering out from the undergrowth. She quickened her pace, her eyes scanning the woods ahead.
The shadows seemed to part. There in the middle of the path stood a figure, tall, imposing, shrouded in darkness. Red stopped dead in her tracks. Her breath caught in her throat. Two eyes, twin points of emerald fire, pierced the gloom. They seemed to burn into her very soul, reading her thoughts, her fears. The wolf. It was bigger than she imagined. Its fur was indeed the color of midnight, thick and sleek. Its muzzle was long and pointed, its teeth gleaming white against the darkness. It stood there, unmoving, its gaze fixed on her. A low growl rumbled in its chest, a sound that seemed to shake the very earth beneath her feet.
Red's mind raced. She wanted to scream, to run, but her legs felt like lead. She was frozen in place, caught in the gaze of the beast. She had to think fast.
Well, well, a voice rumbled from the creature. It was a voice like gravel and smoke, old and weary, yet laced with a strange power. What have we here? A little morsel lost in the woods.
Red found her voice, small and trembling. I'm just going to my grandmother's house, she stammered.
The wolf chuckled, a low rumbling sound that sent shivers down Red's spine. Is that so? And what makes you think you'll get there?
I don't understand, Red whispered, her heart pounding in her chest.
The wolf took a step closer, its eyes never leaving hers. The forest has ways, it said softly. Ways of testing those who dare to enter its domain.
Red felt a chill run down her spine. The wolf's words were cryptic, laced with a hidden meaning she couldn't quite grasp. She had to be careful. The wolf stared down at her, its gaze intense, unreadable. Then it turned and melted back into the shadows. Red stood there, her heart pounding.
She didn't wait. She turned and ran, her basket bouncing against her side. She could feel the forest watching her.
The mist swirled around her. She just had to get out. She ran until her lungs burned, and then she collapsed beneath a towering oak. Join us in the next episode as the mystery deepens and the true nature of the wolf is revealed. What dangers lie ahead for Little Red Riding Hood? Subscribe and stay tuned for part 2 of this twisted tale.